What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, before we actually hop into the commentary, just very quickly again, we actually have another Halo Infinite code gifted to us by Legacy, another goat out here. I'm going to flash it up on the screen here. First come, first serve. If you guys are able to get it, then by all means, go ahead, snag it up, and download Halo Infinite. Also, with that being said, we will be live streaming Halo Infinite today, probably for the whole weekend. We're going to be testing out the game, and I'm probably going to give my personal opinion about this title as well over on the YouTube channel. But if you guys want to be up to date with it and you want to watch it live and in action and see me form my opinion while playing the game itself, then by all means stop into my streams. The link to that stuff is down in the description. I do over on twitch.tv. But talking about live streams, I went ahead and streamed World War III over on Twitch for about 4 to 4.5 hours, just so I can go ahead and get enough time to dissect this game and find differences between the original version of World War III and also the new innovative version that you see right here in front of your eyes. And I gotta say, I am painfully disappointed with what they did in this game. And the funny thing is that I'm not disappointed because the developers were too lazy or they didn't innovate enough or anything like that. I'm disappointed that the developers did innovate. They did add onto this game. They did change this game. And you might think that's crazy. You might say, JB, isn't that a good thing? They added new stuff. They innovated on all the old stuff. They polished off the game. This, that. That all sounds good to me. Let me go ahead and try to describe to you guys why this is a big problem and why it kind of killed my love for World War III. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and tell you guys that this game is awful and you shouldn't cough up money to go ahead and buy it. And I actually think it's going to be free to play at a certain point for console players, so honestly, there's absolutely no reason to go ahead and give this game a shot. It's fantastic, it's unique in its own specific ways, and it gives you a brand new experience that probably a lot of console players have never even got a chance to play yet. And also in this new form of the game, they polished off so many different bugs and glitches that were haunting, absolutely haunting the previous experience of the game. Like I said before in past videos, when you lay prone in World War III, it freezes pretty much everything. You can't move, you can't stand up, you can't look around, you pretty much have to respawn your character, kill yourself or something to be able to get back into the fight. There was horrible issues when it came to this game, and they polished off so many different things. They also improved the graphics, the textures. It looks beautiful right now. They polished off so many different factors, and I have to thank the development team for going ahead and doing so. It is looking phenomenal right now. But the reason I hopped into World War III, the reason I became a fan of this exact title here, is not because of the graphics or the animations, none of that crap. The reason I enjoyed this game was simply because of the gunplay, the moments that you had within this specific title, and despite it being the buggiest, glitchiest mess in the whole universe, I was still able to take time out of my day to go ahead and just play the game regardless. Even though the bugs were haunting me to death, I still enjoyed the gunplay that much that I pushed aside all the horrible glitches in this game to go ahead and still play it. You see, World War III is a tactical shooter, or even considered a milsim. It's supposed to be hyper-realistic, but the best part about this game was they were able to mix in a arcadey feel along with the tactical realism. You see, the movement, the way that you walk around, engage, lean, and everything was super tactical. It felt very realistic and very clean. But the gunplay itself was very arcadey, easy to control recoil. You could completely deck out your weapons in any type of way, make the coolest looking things, and still be very accurate and have a good time and engage in legitimate gunfights. So it had a perfect balance, unlike any other game where it's a little too tactical or a little too arcadey. This was perfect. It was a tactical game that still had an arcadey feel. But in this new version of the game, it almost seems like they did a complete 180. Instead of it being tactical movement and arcadey gunplay, it's arcadey movement and tactical gunplay. The gunplay has been completely revamped in this title, and no longer is it very easy to engage with enemies, and I even went ahead and tested this out, and like I said, looked at previous clips from the older version of the game. I had the same exact attachments on this specific gun here. It is nearly impossible to control, but in the previous version, I could cross-map people, I could beam kids, and I know people are going to say, well, that doesn't sound very fun to be able to cross-map, but every gun was overpowered in this game. That's what made it so fun. That's what gave it variety. I could go across all the assault rifles in this game and have fun with each and every weapon. None of them will feel like trash. Some of them might be a little rough to use, but at the end of the day, I can manage each and every weapon. In this game, I couldn't manage anything. And that's not bad. Again, like I said, this isn't a reason to not go ahead and buy this game. I know a lot of people out there love milsims and tactical shooters and stuff like that, so really complex recoil patterns that are like just stupidly hard to control are really fun to people. People like that because it adds more tap fire, burst fire, positioning and stuff like that, so there's nothing wrong with it. But again, it's a completely different game. It's a night and day difference. Everything that I came to World War III for, everything that made me a fan of this game, has been completely stripped out of the title, rearranged, and then forced back into this game. Like, for example, the tack sprint and the sliding feature feel completely forced. Completely forced. It wasn't needed. The original movement system in this game was phenomenal. It wasn't extremely slow to the point where you couldn't get to any objectives or anything. You could obviously still sprint, but a lot of the times where you engage in indoor battles, you're walking around, you're creeping, you're peeking with your laser scope, a lot of hip firing and stuff like that. It felt, so you know what, forget, I'm just going to go ahead and cut these clips right here. I'm going to take you straight over to the old school gameplay, just so you can get a little idea of what I'm talking about here, of how the gameplay changed. Because now it's all about tack sprinting, sliding. It's almost like they're trying to be exactly like Call of Duty when they had a perfect identity on their own. They were able to capture a realistic environment and realistic gameplay while still having solid gunplay, arcadey gunplay to add in a nice solid mix. But I'll tell you right now, this is the #1 thing that I complained about the whole experience. I loved everything else. They polished everything. They fixed so many bugs and glitches. They completely rearranged the UI to make it so much more consumer friendly. Absolutely fantastic stuff going on here with World War III, but I cannot get over the new system or the new momentum that they're trying to find or fix into this game. I don't know what to call it, but whatever they're trying to do here, it just simply doesn't work. It really doesn't, and I complained about it the whole time. I hate the tack sprint feature. It's really annoying. I hate the new gunplay. I hate how the weapons are absolutely obnoxious to shoot off because it makes it much slower than it was in the previous version of this game. This game used to be a lot more fast-paced than it is nowadays in this new build because I could actually engage with people. If I saw someone, I had a chance to go ahead and shoot them. But now it's all angle-based because the guns have so much freaking kick that if you go ahead and expose yourself out in the open and you see someone, if they have the head glitch, trust me, they're going to have a like 90% chance of killing you while you are like at a minimal 10% chance of winning that gunfight unless you get a lucky headshot. And one last thing that I must talk about with World War III is the new ranking system. I'm not too big of a fan of it. Now, I don't mind ranking up, but the progression for your weapons and unlocking new things in the game is nearly impossible. I desperately miss the old currency system from the previous, World War III build. It allowed me to pick what I wanted, the weapons that I want to start off with, the attachments that I enjoy the most, each thing, costing a little bit more depending on what you want to put on your gun, and eventually I can deck out my full weapon if I play the game long enough. But they replaced that system with a brand new ranking system. So now instead of being able to purchase whatever you want through the, in-game currency, which is not purchasable, you can't use real money for it, it's just, play time, you earn more money, which you can use in the game to get more weapons. So as long as that system stayed the same, I'll be good, as long as it's not paid to win. But back to what I was saying, instead of being able to use a currency system to unlock stuff, now there's a ranking system behind World War III, which isn't bad, because in games like Call of Duty, it works perfectly fine, being able to, wait for ranks to get new weapons and new gear and stuff like that. It's whatever, it works perfect in COD. But that was a special thing about World War III. That was part of its charm, being able to hop in and right away be able to say, oh, that gun looks absolutely dope. That's the first one I want to try. You grind a couple of games, you unlock enough currency to go ahead and pick it up. You pick up the gun, then you grind the game more to go ahead and, get more currency to get attachments for the gun. Then maybe you want to camo on the gun, so you go and grind the game more, get the currency. You see the cycle that I'm saying here? Even when it comes to your character customization, if you see something that's super dope, something that you think fits your character right away, you can save up. Some things are more expensive than others, but right off the bat, you're able to go ahead, dive deep, and get exactly what you want. But again, with the ranking system, it's going to push all of the stuff back, and it takes a long time to in COD. It doesn't take 10 centuries to go ahead and unlock stuff in the game. But in this game, like I said, 4 hours. I unlocked one rifle besides the current rifle that I had. And I refused to even try it out. It was the G36T, which I absolutely love, but I refused to grind it because the grind session just to unlock attachments for your gun took forever. It took me 4 hours. 4 hours to get one scope, one muzzle attachment, one magazine, and I think one grip. 4 hours, I got 4 attachments. That's absurd. But those are my problems. If you want to go ahead and try World War III, I still suggest it. I think it's a fantastic game. I think it's great. But for me personally, the charm behind this game is no longer there. What I came for this title for just doesn't feel natural anymore. The clunky yet smooth movement of this game is no longer like that. It's still clunky as hell, but they tried to add in fast-paced mechanics, and they didn't even smooth out the game. Why add tack sprint and long-ass slide cancel? I mean, you could slide for ages with all that gear that you're carrying, but then the movement isn't smooth at all. It goes from a smooth slide back into clunky movement. It was never meant to be in the game, it's just ridiculous. And the funny thing about it is that sliding is in the original version of the game as well, but it wasn't as absurd as it is now. Once again, it seems like they're trying to force in features that did not need to be in the game in the first place. When I saw that this game was relaunching, all I thought they were going to do was update the graphics, polish off the game, optimize it a little bit more, which it isn't optimized whatsoever. Maybe it's just because we're on the test server, so I can't really complain about that yet, but gosh, the frame droppage is pretty serious. Work on removing all the bugs and glitches, and also at the same time adding in more content. That's all I thought was going on. I didn't think they're going to completely remake the game, basically, into a new version of its own self. Not bad. I think you should still try it out, but I am kind of sad and disappointed that it's taken this direction. Hopefully, maybe one day, they'll be able to revert a few changes, but I think this is definitely the direction they want to take it, so I'm not going to blame them, I'm not going to judge them. I'm going to let the developers enjoy their time with this and, have a good time, but I'm probably going to go elsewhere. I was going to cover this game a lot, but I gotta say, the things that I go to this game for, which I can still go to the old classic for, like, I still really enjoy the old classic, but when I go to the new version, I don't feel any of it. It's sad, but it's true. But guys, thanks so much for tuning into this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like if you hate it. Leave a dislike. Also, if you're brand new and you enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button. Also, want to chat with me, there's two ways to do so, at Twitter and Discord. Both of those links are down in the description. And also want to catch me live stream some video games I do over on Twitch. Link that's in the description as well. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in. See you on the next one. Peace out.